Hi, I'm Tara Runco. Welcome to Chef in It, a cooking series where I'm inviting Colorado's best chefs to teach us how to bring a taste of their restaurant into your home kitchen. This episode, we're visiting my good friend, Luke Miller, executive chef and baking enthusiast at the Greenwich in Denver. The Greenwich serves up affordable, comforting Italian fare with a modern twist and has an old world wine list you can't help but admire. Today, Luke will be making his signature pizza that I'm absolutely obsessed with. I can't wait to check it out. Thank you so much, Chef Luke, for inviting me to the Greenwich and making me some of your sourdough pizza.
Yeah, of course. So we've got our classic margherita here, and then over here is our green garlic pesto with heirloom tomatoes.
Can you tell me a little bit about that signature crust?
We use a sourdough starter for it. It adds a great flavor and acidity along with making a soft texture for the crust. At home, we're gonna replace it with a little bit of yeast just to make it more approachable and easy.
Can you tell me a little bit about the Greenwich?
So we make Italian-American cuisine, but with a touch of Southwestern influence because we are in Denver. All the pasta we make is hand-rolled in-house. We really think it's important to just see the process the whole way through so we can make it exactly how we want to.
What pizza are we going to enjoy first?
Let's have the Marg.
All right, Luke, you just took a huge bite of the crust.
You know, I think there's the most variability with the crust. That's the first thing I'm checking.
Well, I'm no baker, but I'm going to,
It's the move.
It's a nice sturdy crust, so you don't have a pizza that's gonna.
What I really like is that the crust eats similar to a baguette, really crispy on the outside, but fluffy and light on the interior. This is our green garlic pesto pizza.
I love the tomatoes with the pesto. There's a little bit of lemon in here, and it's utterly gorgeous. I can't wait to see what we make in my home kitchen.
Yeah, I'm excited to cook with you.
Thank you so much, Luke, for sharing your signature sourdough pizza at the Greenwich. Now we're back in my kitchen. What are we doing here?
We're gonna make pesto pizza and a margherita pizza. We'll start out by making the pizza dough and then make some pesto, tomato sauce, and pull some mozzarella.
So we're actually going to make pizza dough.
Yep.
I'm excited. All right, what's our first step?
Dough temperature is kind of the most important factor in fermentation.
And what temperature is ideal?
75 degrees. We're anywhere within 5 degrees of that. So our flour, about 54. So we'll just make our water about 95 degrees. 434 grams. Our numbers, they're all based around a total weight of dough of 1,000 grams. When you're mixing any type of bread, you always start with your wets and then you'll go dries on top. So we're gonna add olive oil. My yeast will go in, flour, and the spelt. Put it on our mixer. We're gonna start a timer.
And what's the time that we're looking for?
3 to 5 minutes. It's roughly when all our flour is hydrated. We're gonna start on stir just so we don't throw flour everywhere. We're starting to get some dry bits on the edge, so we'll just stop our timer, stop our mixer. Little, I call them dough cards. You can just scrape your edges. Totally use a spatula. So you'll see right now, it's kind of shaggy. As the flour hydrates and we develop the gluten, it will come together. Let's turn it up one more to speed 2.
So what if you don't have a stand mixer? Can you do this all by hand?
You can definitely mix it by hand. If you want to go through the kneading process, it might just be a little bit longer.
How do you know if it's starting to get too much?
You'll kind of see it in your final product. You'll see that it's just like really hard to stretch and wants to tear on you. And then the same thing where your dough is just tearing on you if you undermix.
So some of it might be experience?
A lot of it's experience, yeah. Bread, you have to develop a feel for it in a specific location. We're gonna let it rest for 30 minutes and go through a process called autolyse. That's gonna further hydrate our dough, but really it's gonna make it easier to stretch. So we're gonna make some fresh mozzarella. First step is to get water boiling. Next step is going to be breaking up our mozzarella curd and mixing it with our salt. Seems like a lot, but most of this is going to go into the water that we pour on top. Break it up into manageable pieces.
Is there an advantage to stretching your own mozzarella?
So you have a little bit more control over texture and seasoning. I find that it melts a little bit nicer too. You want your water between 180 and 190 degrees for it to stretch properly. So we're just going to cover it. I'm sorry for your hands in advance. This isn't going to be fun. We're just going to move it around, and you'll see it start to kind of clump together into this mass.
So just bunching it all up together.
Yeah, it'll start to smooth out almost. Pour some of our whey into there to form our brine. The ice will help the mozzarella sort of keep its shape and retain some of its texture. So we're going to take it out and slowly let it stretch on our spoon. And then once it's stretched all the way down, bring it back together into one mass, and we'll do it a couple more times. And so you can see how it's starting to get more smooth.
I feel like this is a competition right now.
The bigger cheese pull.
This is so cool.
Yeah, making cheese, man.
Yeah.
You can kind of taste it to pinch off a little piece. That's where I like it. Like it's
This is great.
full salt. Yeah, I'll just break it in half, pinch off one ball, and I'm just gonna pinch the edges underneath while I rotate until it gets into a nice ball. Seal it closed with just a firm pinch.
How cool.
And then it just lives in our ice bath.
We just made cheese.
Yeah. You can already see we've got this nice smooth dough.
Super stretchy.
At this point, we're gonna add our salt. Adding salt helps you control the fermentation. You'll see your dough like tighten up and really strengthen. And then we'll start mixing on speed 2 again for about 5 minutes.
You used to work at dry storage and you use some of their flour in your dough.
Yeah, the quality of the flour that they make is like some of the best in the country, I think. And the spelt, which is what we specifically use, really high in extensible protein, so it likes to be stretched. So you can make a really strong dough that wants to be stretched, which I think is perfect for pizza.
So what would you recommend to the average home cook?
King Arthur bread flour or all-purpose flour, both will work. If you want to sub in like whole wheat flour, totally acceptable. You might have to make like slight adjustments to the recipe. So you can see it, how it's starting to pull against the walls. I'm pretty happy with this, and we'll just let it rest for 45 minutes. Now we're gonna make our pepita pesto. So step 1 is going to be lightly toasting our seeds. You can see like it's starting to get a little toast, and it's starting to get fragrant. So while those cool, we'll cut our herbs, gather it, and you can be pretty aggressive, and roll this up and just like roughly cut it. This gives like the food processor just like a head start. Same thing with the basil, making sure if there are any stems that are like broken down a little bit. Now we'll just kind of put it in a bowl, and in will go our pepitas, basil, parsley, our agave. People forget that sugar is a really big, important part of seasoning. Green garlic puree. In the spring, you get green garlic, which is just like garlic when it's sprouting out and young. It looks kind of like scallions, but a little bit tougher. We'll puree it and mix it with salt and chili flakes.
And then the green garlic, you can use typical garlic.
Completely, yeah, you could sub like 3 to 5 cloves. So we're gonna start it. And so you can see it starting to puree on the bottom. I'm just gonna add a small amount of our olive oil. You can see we're pretty well chopped. Personally with pestos, I like them like slightly on like the rustic side with like some pieces of nuts in there.
I love having that texture.
Me too.
I think it really adds a lot to it.
Just stream in our oil. We're gonna add cheese now, a little bit of distilled vinegar. I think it's just a really big part of the American palate. And so a lot of times when I'm tasting sauces and I think it's like missing almost an unidentifiable like property, it's distilled vinegar. Lemon juice, 2 whole lemons, 1 zest of 1 lemon. So a big part of lemon zest is the essential oils that get released.
Yeah.
So if you're zesting towards yourself, you're just throwing those oils in your face instead of into the food you're cooking. So I always make people zest into whatever they're cooking. And we'll just pulse it together really quickly, give it a taste to make sure we like it.
This is amazing. There's such a depth of flavor that I'm not used to with a lot of pestos.
The green garlic puree like brings it all together. We have let this pizza dough rest for about 45 minutes, and now we're gonna shape it into the balls that it will ferment in until we're ready to make pizzas. Kind of scrape it out. Dough has an outside and an inside, and I only want flour on the outside portion of the dough. Once you start incorporating flour into the inside, you can get like dry pockets or like blowouts when it bakes, and then a little bit of flour on the table. And then from here, we'll scale.
And you're looking for that 250?
Roughly, yeah, give or take a couple grams. There you go. And so it's a little small. So since we've got this scrap dough,
Yeah.
we can just add it to the inside. We're gonna shape it almost the exact same as the mozzarella. So this is our inside, this is our outside. With my left hand, I rotate the dough, and then with my right hand, I crimp it in. Once I get it here, pinch it like this and seal it up. Yeah, you're pretty good.
This is fun. How did you fall in love with baking?
I think I like the repetition of it. I also just like eating it, so I think that makes it easier. I really enjoy the solitude of baking. We can either let it sit at room temperature for a couple hours and get a little bigger, or put it in the fridge and it'll be ready within 5 hours.
What happens if you don't want to go through the process of making your own dough?
Well, a lot of bakeries will sell pizza dough. Or if you just call up a pizzeria you like, I'm sure they'd be willing to sell you a couple
A
balls.
pizzeria like maybe the Greenwich?
There we go.
So tomato sauce.
Tomato sauce, crushed canned tomatoes, 1 clove of garlic, about 1/4 of an onion. Grate it on the largest setting. This is the worst way to cut an onion without crying. It's just guaranteed. Yeah.
Great.
We'll add a pinch of salt to start, and then just a pinch of sugar. Tomatoey.
That's a nice tomato
Balance.
sauce.
Yeah. So we've got our heirloom tomatoes that we're gonna core and slice. Slice them relatively thin. If you go too thick, it gets really heavy on the pizza. The cheese, it's set up and it's firm. You can tear this if you want. I cut it into cubes.
How long can you keep your mozzarella around?
If you're at home, up to a week. At the restaurant, we like to make it at least every other day because it'll start to get sour and the texture will start to change. What we're gonna do is take some fine semolina. We're just gonna dust the top. You can also just use normal flour. The semolina will give it some nice texture that I like. We'll just take this guy, and then you can kind of adjust your shape a little bit to make it round. If it starts round, it's a lot easier to get it to end round. 1,000,001 ways to shape. This is how I do it. So we'll press it in and just sort of gently stretch it. So I'm pulling with this finger as I'm circling it around.
You're way better at this than I am.
Do it 1,000 times and you'll be fine. So I'm gonna take my top, put it on my fist. So I've got basically my index finger and my middle finger are gonna be pushing out like that. And my other finger is gonna be doing the same motion while I'm arcing it in a circle. And then you just toss it in between. I know. So if you want, you can just do this and let gravity work it while you just make a circle.
Okay.
And it'll slowly get bigger and bigger.
The technique is a little bit easier for a novice such as myself.
No, it's a good way to learn and figure out how to feel the dough. If I feel a thick spot, I'll pull it out.
If I did this 10 more times, I would probably be a pro, right?
You'd be totally fine. Yeah, you'd have this. We're always hiring. We're about to hit some preferences that people might disagree with. So top your pizza how you want to top your pizza. But I like sauce on top if I'm doing a tomato sauce-based pizza. We have our grana padano, our mozzarella provolone, so do a thin layer of that. We'll take our tomato sauce, and it's about 2 scoops for me.
Now, mozzarella.
Mozzarella.
We made this.
We made this. And then we just finish it with another pinch of our grana padano.
We're gonna put it into a 500-degree oven for how long?
In our oven, it takes about 5 minutes to fully cook, so it might just take a little bit longer in a home oven. All right, pesto time.
Gorgeous.
Yeah, I like to just do it in the middle and go from there. We'll take a small amount of Havarti cheese, a tiny bit of grana, and then we'll take our tomatoes, a little more Havarti on top to just melt over the whole thing, and we're pretty good. So our pizza is nice and brown.
Luke, this looks amazing.
Thank you. Good release and then a little shimmy as you pull back. And then if we look at the underneath, if you feel it, yeah, it's nice and crispy, but it's got that give. We'll just hit it with a little bit of our salt, a little bit of our pizza spice.
What about some of this basil?
Oh, definitely, let's do it.
Cheers.
Cheers.
There's nothing better than fresh pizza right out of the oven. And the fact that we actually made the mozzarella, I feel very accomplished.
You made this pizza.
It's pretty good.
We'll take it out, finish it with a little bit of salt, some of our fennel pollen, lemon, and then just give it a cut.
That green garlic makes such a huge difference.
Just adds that little funk.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's
A
great.
little funk. I like the little bit of spice.
You did a great job. Killed it. last one.
Izza is going to be extremely excited about this.
Got a great dog.
She's-
Deserves the best.
She thinks so.
Yeah.
Throwing it in.
All right, guys, dog pie.
You want some pizza? Oh man, she's loving this. Thank you for joining us today. And thank you to Chef Luke and the Greenwich. If you want to make this dish, you can find the recipe on our website at chefinit.com. I'll see you next time on Chefin' It.